Welcome. This video will show you how to build more complex dependencies between the alarm zones in our device. For instance, let's say you have 3 rooms and a common corridor. You want to have separate alarm zones for all of them, but you want them to work together. For example, you can set up the alarm zone in such a way that you can only arm the alarm in the common corridor once all the other alarm zones are armed. This would also automatically disarm the corridor alarm once an alarm in one of the rooms is disarmed. First, open the Input Configuration window and enter the Logic Functions tab. Pick one of the X variables and pick a function binding the 3 alarm zones, let's say zones 1, 2, and 3. This function reacts to when the alarm zones are armed, not triggered. Save this configuration and exit the window. Enter the 147 pin code. Now try arming all the 3 zones. As you can see, the X variable becomes active only after all 3 zones are armed. Now, how to set up the alarm in the common corridor. We need to use the feedback option. Enter the output configuration window. Pick a different alarm zone, let's say zone 4, and choose the X variable you have chosen for the previous 3 alarm zones. Save this configuration and exit the window. Try arming the alarm zones. As you can see, alarm zone 4 is armed automatically once the 3 other alarm zones are armed. It is also disarmed as soon as one of the other alarm zones is disarmed. This way, when you go to your office or go back home, you do not need to switch off the alarm in the whole house, but you only switch it off in the rooms you know you will be walking through. The alarm will stay armed in the rest. You can also add feedback to one of the analog zones if you want them to be armed together with the normal alarm zones. Simply enter the X variables as the feedback function for one of the analog zones, and it will now work together with the normal alarm zones. Save these settings and exit. Additionally, you can connect some device to one of the outputs and make it work together with the circuit that you have built already. Simply enter the X variable as the function for one of the outputs. Save and try again. As you can see, the output switches on when all 3 zones are armed. Now that the dependencies between the alarm zones are set up, you should also connect some indicator that the alarm has been triggered, like a horn or a lamp. Enter the input configuration again. Pick a different X variable. This time set a function that reacts to when the alarm zones are triggered, not simply armed. We also pick a function that will react to any of the alarm zones being triggered, not all of them at the same time. Save this configuration and exit. Enter the output configuration window. Pick an output to which you will connect your indicator and assign it to the X variable that you just used. Save and exit. Now, whenever one of the alarm zones is triggered, the X variable will become active and switch on the output, which in turn will switch on the indicator. To make this as close to real life as possible, we will connect our resistor to input 21 and bind that input with alarm zone 1. First, disarm the alarm zones. Now enter the input configuration window and make the necessary changes. Save this configuration and exit. As you can see, the resistance is now around 2. Arm the alarm zones. The fourth zone arms automatically. Now, if the resistance is changed, the alarm is triggered. As you can see, the alarm zone button changed to red. The X variable was activated, as was output number 1, to which your indicator would be connected. This is of course just one example. How you set up the device is up to your imagination. You can include the astro timer, thermometers or flooding detectors in your dependencies. This is all for now. Thank you for watching.